A young mother had her 2-year-old daughter with her in church one Sunday, and the child was very quiet and well-behaved, except she kept turning around and smiling at the people in the pew behind her. Finally, her mother, rather annoyed, said to her in a loud whisper, "Stop smiling, you're in church." If you can't smile in church, where can you smile? Hospitality is a word we hear a lot here in Las Vegas. The hospitality industry is the backbone of our economy. But the word hospitality also is used often in describing the qualities of a parish. The parishioners have a sense of how to welcome, how to care for, how to empathize with, and how to encourage one another. And of course, that sense of hospitality extends to visitors. But if it's not first present in the parish community, it becomes difficult to extend that hospitality to others. Hospitality might be defined as an outward expression of the inward love, care, and concern we have for others. That outward expression can be lavish or simple, elegant or plain. It can be manifested by words, by gestures, by actions, and by paying attention to the presence of others and their needs. It can be as simple and basic as just getting to know someone's name. In the first reading today, the woman provided for the prophet Elisha a place to stay whenever he passed by their home. She provided a bed, a table, a chair, and a lamp. What she provided would not be much of a match for what we would expect in even a mediocre hotel today, but it was certainly adequate for the Middle Eastern hospitality of the time. What traveler among us has not relished the welcome refreshment of a comfortable bed after a long day of traveling? Who hasn't delighted in a comfortable chair, a lamp, and a table to sit around with friends, talking into the night? These are, of course, basics of physical hospitality that stem from the inner love and the inner care for that person, a manifestation of our real spiritual hospitality. There's one thing we should always remember and celebrate. There is no one more hospitable than God. Sunday after Sunday, God shows us hospitality as we are invited to join our brothers and sisters to celebrate the Eucharistic meal right here. God gives us the basics like the generous woman gave to Elisha. Not a bed, but an opportunity to rest a while in God's presence. And please note I said rest, not sleep. God provides an altar, a table, from which we receive the sacred banquet, food for our journey, pledge of everlasting life. God provides a pew or a chair, so we have a place in this sacred assembly. Every pew, every seat in this church is a place of honor for the guests whom God has invited to this feast in memory of his beloved Son. Last but not least, God provides a lamp. The Psalms tell us, "Your word, O God, is a lamp for my feet, a light for my path." The word of God proclaimed and preached at Mass truly welcomes us and becomes for us an unfailing light for our days, enlightening us in how to be people of hospitality. Today's gospel is a difficult one. Jesus does speak about hospitality for the prophet, the righteous man, and his disciples, even if it's just giving a cup of water to one of his thirsty disciples. But before that, Jesus begins the gospel today with some very difficult words. Jesus tells us we are to love him more than our family. This is shocking to us, and would have been even more shocking to his disciples. At the time of Jesus, the family was the sole support for people. The government did not provide for you if you were sick, injured, jobless, or broke. One could only turn to one's family in the hour of need. So we might wonder, where does Jesus come up with these difficult sayings? But I think we have to look past the initial shock value to the underlying message of Jesus. What he's telling us is that we must live the 10 Commandments, not just read them or recite them. The first 3 commandments deal with our relationship with God. We are to have no other gods before God. We are to reverence God and his holy name, and we are to set apart time dedicated to God, the Sabbath, Sunday. After those 3, then, the other 7 commandments deal with our relationships with one another. Honor your father and mother. Do not kill, do not steal, do not commit adultery, do not covet, etc. Our first duty is to get our relationship with God right, and then our other relationships will fall into place. If we put God first, our family will be better off. If we are generous, don't we know and trust that others will be generous to us? And if we follow the commandments in living and working and worshiping with each other, will we not then be truly hospitable to one another? God welcomes us with open arms, and we welcome each other because we all belong to God. That is true hospitality. That is truly something to smile about, especially in church.